What if I told you the only thing standing between you and the life you want is how you act when things are uncertain, not when it's easy, not when it's obvious, but when you're tired, scared, or stuck? What if you started showing up, not based on fear, but as if everything was already working out in your favor? Because the moment you shift your mindset, you shift your direction, and that changes everything. When you believe that everything always works out, something profound begins to shift, not in the world around you, but inside of you. It's not magic, it's not wishful thinking, it's mindset, and mindset is the foundation of behavior. Most people wait for evidence before they commit. They wait for signs, for guarantees, for reassurance. They want to see the road before they take the first step, but that's not how successful people think. They don't wait for the outside to confirm the inside. They act as if what they want is already on the way. When someone carries the belief that everything is going to work out, they don't hesitate the same way others do. They don't flinch in the face of challenge. Their posture changes. Their voice carries weight. Their decisions have clarity. That belief shapes their daily habits, their speech, their focus, and their energy. It creates a ripple effect. What you believe begins to manifest in the choices you make, and those choices shape your reality. Think about this. If you knew with absolute certainty that what you're working toward will succeed, how would you act today? Would you be more confident in your approach? Would you make the call, take the risk? Speak up, you probably would. You'd stop procrastinating. You'd stop overthinking. You'd stop doubting yourself. The truth is that version of you, the one who acts with certainty, is already inside of you. It just needs permission to take over. Acting as if everything always works out isn't about ignoring reality. It's about reshaping how you show up in it. People often confuse realism with pessimism. They think preparing for the worst is being responsible. But there's a difference between preparation and paralysis. There's wisdom in being aware, but power in being assured. When you carry the belief that things are working out for you, you're not blind to problems. You're just unwilling to surrender to them. Belief precedes behavior. If you carry doubt, your actions will be hesitant. If you carry confidence, your actions will be bold, and bold actions move mountains. Even when the outcome isn't immediate, the internal shift makes you a person who keeps going, who sees failure as part of the process, not the end of it. That kind of belief creates endurance, and endurance is often the bridge between average and extraordinary. Most people condition their mindset based on results. They think, if things go well, I'll feel good. If things go bad, I'll feel anxious. That's a fragile way to live. You're handing over the steering wheel of your emotional life to circumstance. But when you reverse that, when you decide to feel good, move forward, and take strong action regardless of temporary setbacks, you become untouchable. You gain emotional independence. You stop reacting and start creating. You don't need the world to confirm your vision. You don't need applause or validation. You don't need every condition to be perfect. You just need to choose a mindset that says, it's going to work out. It may not look how I thought, but I'll find a way. That level of self-trust is rare, and that's why it's powerful, because it's easy to doubt, it's easy to fear, it's easy to wait. What's hard is stepping forward with no visible safety net, and trusting that your wings will unfold midair. Everything in life starts in the invisible before it becomes visible. That includes your future. Your actions today are the seeds of that future. So if you want a life that works out, you've got to act like it's already working. You've got to behave like the person who's already living that reality. Speak like them, move like them, decide like them. Because the version of you who believes in their vision is the version who will eventually live it. Life has a way of throwing curveballs when we least expect it. Plans fall apart, people disappoint us, and things we counted on crumble right before our eyes. But here's the truth. Adversity is not a dead end, it's a doorway. What matters most isn't what happens to you, but how you respond to it. Because your response becomes your story, your identity, and your direction. When you act as if everything always works out, even in the face of chaos, you're choosing to anchor yourself in resilience instead of reaction. Hard times come for everyone, no one is exempt, but while most people get stuck asking, why me, A different question changes everything. What now? That question takes you from victim to leader, from stuck to moving. When you believe that everything is working out, even when you can't see the full picture, you rise above the moment. You stop reacting emotionally and start responding intelligently. You don't deny the pain. You acknowledge it, but you don't camp in it. You use it. Adversity is temporary. No season lasts forever, but the way you handle that season can leave a permanent mark. Think about the strongest, most capable people you admire. They didn't get there by gliding through life without friction. They were shaped in the furnace of difficulty. Pressure forged them. Loss taught them. Challenge matured them. And yet, while others were breaking under the weight, they chose to believe that something better was coming. That belief wasn't just positive thinking. It was a posture, a strategy, a way of moving through life. When you act as if everything always works out, you don't crumble when things don't go your way. You adjust. You pivot. You stay in the game. You understand that just because something went wrong doesn't mean everything is wrong. Too many people take one failure and make it a final sentence, but failure is never final unless you accept it as such. Every misstep is feedback, not failure. Every delay is not a denial. Sometimes the detour is the path. Responding well to adversity doesn't mean you pretend you're okay when you're not. It means you hold on to perspective. You remember that storms don't last forever. You remember that what you're going through now might just be preparing you for something greater down the road. You remind yourself that pain, though uncomfortable, often brings the most valuable growth. Growth never happens in comfort zones. Comfort maintains, but adversity transforms. A key part of acting like everything works out is the decision to trust that there's something meaningful in the mess. That even when things are out of your control, your mindset is still yours to manage. You might not choose every battle, but you do choose your armor. You do choose your attitude, and attitude is everything. With the right attitude, you can walk through fire and come out refined instead of burned. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in life come right after the greatest setbacks, but most people quit before they get there. They mistake the end of a chapter for the end of the story. They stop believing. They stop trying. And when you stop trying, you start settling. But when you act as if everything will eventually make sense, when you live with a sense of quiet confidence that things are unfolding for your good, you keep going, you keep building, you keep showing up even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard, pain is not meant to punish you. It's meant to prepare you. Every disappointment can become a seed of strength if you decide to respond with purpose instead of panic. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You don't need everything to make sense in the moment, but you do need to hold the belief that there's a reason to keep going. You do need to act like your future is worth fighting for, even if your present feels uncertain. That belief gives you the endurance to keep moving forward. There's a certain power that begins to stir the moment you decide to show up with energy, even before the results give you permission to feel good. Acting as if everything always works out is not just about staying optimistic, it's about setting your internal thermostat. When your intention is set, your energy begins to follow. That shift in energy changes how you interact with people, how you respond to stress, and how you approach your goals. It creates momentum where there was once hesitation. Most people think they need the circumstances to change before they feel better. They wait for something external, a promotion, a relationship, a windfall, to lift their spirits, but waiting puts you at the mercy of life. When you decide instead to carry the energy of someone who already believes it's going to work out, you take back control. You stop being a passive observer and start becoming an active participant in your life. Energy is magnetic. The way you carry yourself sends a message, not just to others, but to your own mind. If you walk into a room with the posture of defeat, opportunities will pass you by. Not because they weren't available, but because you weren't aligned to receive them. But walk in with purpose, with the kind of energy that says, I belong here, I bring value, and everything begins to change. People notice doors open, not magically, but energetically. When you move through life with an intention that says, "This will work out for me," your focus sharpens. You stop seeing problems as dead ends and start seeing them as puzzles. You become more curious than afraid. That shift in energy makes you more solution-oriented. It changes your language. You say, "How can I make this work?" instead of "Why is this happening to me?" That single shift in questioning transforms everything. Think about a time when you felt unstoppable. It likely wasn't because everything around you was perfect. It was because something inside of you was clear. You had conviction. You had purpose. That inner alignment produced energy. And energy creates movement. When you act as if everything always works out, you generate that energy on demand. You don't wait for inspiration to find you. You show up with it. The truth is, people can feel your energy long before you speak. You walk into a room, and the way you carry yourself, the light in your eyes, the way you greet others, it all communicates something. When you carry the belief that everything is aligning in your favor, people feel safer around you. They trust you more. You become someone others want to work with, someone they believe in. Why? Because you believe in yourself first. That's not arrogance. It's alignment. It's an inner confidence that comes from setting your internal compass to a higher standard. When you expect things to work out, not in a naive way, but in a grounded, focused way, you keep your emotional state from being dictated by every up and down. That stability becomes your power, and it's attractive, not just in relationships, but in business, in leadership, in creativity. Acting as if everything always works out doesn't mean ignoring red flags or avoiding responsibility. It means stepping into your day with the mindset that you are capable, that you will adapt, and that whatever comes, you'll face it with strength. That intention becomes the driver of your energy, and when your energy is in the right place, your results begin to reflect it. Energy that is rooted in doubt moves hesitantly. It second, guesses, it retracts, it plays small. But energy rooted in intention moves with clarity. It pushes forward. It's willing to take risks because it's grounded in the belief that forward is the direction. Even if the path shifts, the momentum continues. That kind of energy builds trust, not just in others, but within yourself. You become someone who can depend on their own decisions, someone who doesn't fold under pressure, someone who brings life to the room instead of waiting for it. And that, more than talent or luck or timing, is often what sets people apart. The decision to bring energy first, to live from a place of inner certainty, to act as if everything is unfolding in your favor, that's when your world starts to shift. There's a dangerous habit that many people fall into without realizing it: waiting. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait for clarity. They wait for confidence to magically appear. They wait until they feel ready, until they have more time, until they're less afraid. But life doesn't wait. The days pass, the opportunities move on, and the window of possibility begins to close. Not because the chance disappeared, but because the person hesitated. Acting as if everything always works out is not just about belief. It's about motion. It's about living on purpose instead of living on pause. When you believe that everything is going to work out for you, you don't sit back and hope. You engage, you initiate, you decide. You don't treat your dreams like lottery tickets. You treat them like responsibilities. That mindset shifts everything. It turns passive hope into purposeful action. And when you act with purpose, even before the results are visible, you begin to shape your reality instead of waiting to be rescued by it. Waiting often feels safe. It gives the illusion of control. If I just wait a little longer, maybe things will make more sense. Maybe I'll be more certain. But that waiting becomes a cage. It traps potential and delays progress. You don't build courage by waiting for fear to disappear. You build it by taking action in the presence of fear. You take the first step even when your hands are shaking. That's what living on purpose looks like. It's choosing movement over perfection. When you act as if things are working out, you begin to make bold decisions. You don't need every answer in advance. You trust that clarity will come through action, and it does. You grow faster when you're in motion. You discover more by doing than by thinking. Life rewards movement. You gain experience, you make adjustments, and you evolve. But none of that happens if you're stuck in someday. There's a cost to playing small. Every time you hold back, every time you hesitate out of fear or doubt, you're reinforcing a story that says, I don't have what it takes. But when you live as if your actions matter, because they do, you begin to rewrite that story. You begin to prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. You build momentum, and momentum is powerful. It doesn't require motivation. It creates it. Purposeful action doesn't always mean giant leaps. Sometimes it's a single conversation you've been avoiding. Sometimes it's showing up to the gym when you don't feel like it. Sometimes it's writing the first page of the book you've been thinking about for years. What matters is that you stop waiting for permission. You give yourself the green light and you start. You don't let fear decide your schedule. Living on purpose means staying committed even when progress is slow. You don't abandon your path just because the outcome isn't immediate. You keep moving because your belief is bigger than your obstacles. You act like it's working out because that mindset keeps you focused, keeps you sharp, and keeps you from falling into the trap of discouragement. The truth is, you never really know what's just around the corner. One email, one meeting, one introduction could change everything, but you only get to those moments if you're in motion. You can't experience breakthroughs if you're sitting on the sidelines second, guessing every move. You've got to be in the arena. You've got to show up consistently and courageously, even when no one's clapping yet. That's the real test. Not whether you can act when everything's clear, but whether you can keep acting when it's not. Whether you can bring your full effort when the outcome is still uncertain. Whether you can keep pouring into your work, your growth, your vision, not because you're guaranteed a result, but because you've chosen to live with intention. That choice, repeated daily, becomes the path that leads you where you want to go, not by accident, not by luck, but because you stopped living on pause and decided to live on purpose.